Now I feel a little uncomfortable wearing this hat. So this video is related to my last video on why men stopped wearing hats. That seemed to gain a lot of traction, and a new conversation came out of that, which was, do hats cause male pattern baldness? I saw this on a few comments on Reddit, and I decided to do a little bit more research into the topic to find out if it's just a myth or if there's any truth behind it. Male pattern baldness, aka androgenic alopecia, will affect more than 50% of American men over the age of 50, according to the US National Library of Medicine. The major cause of male pattern baldness is luck of the draw genetics. If you have a family history of male pattern baldness, chances are you'll repeat that history. It is usually related to relatives on your mother's side, such as your uncles or grandfather. Male pattern baldness is associated with male sex hormones called androgens, which serve many purposes, including hair growth. Every hair on your head has a growth cycle. Male pattern baldness weakens this growth cycle by releasing dihydrotestosterone, DHT, a byproduct of good old male testosterone, causing hair follicles to shrink and produce shorter, finer, more delicate strands of hair susceptible to breakage. Eventually, the growth cycle for each follicle ceases and no new hair grows in its place. This is truly a sad event.
You're a sad event.
Thank you, Em.
Over-the-counter items like Rogaine and Propecia block the production of DHT to prevent further hair loss and foster new hair growth cycles. However, they only work if the follicle itself is intact and not damaged beyond repair. Male pattern baldness can begin as early as a man's teenage years, but it's usually found in adult men. A blurb from Everything You Need to Know About Your Thinning Hair, an article written in GQ by Lisa Corsillo, claims that men are creating their own male pattern baldness through excessive hat use. The hat prevents the sweat glands from breathing. It clogs follicles, preventing healthy hair growth. Not so fast, because hair expert Dr. Alan Bowman, a certified hair restoration physician, calls BS on that statement. Your hat would have to be fastened so tight to your head that it wouldn't even be possible for you to wear it, in order for it to get enough traction to cause damage. The US News and World Report says hats don't cause any harm, and if you're concerned about traction alopecia, which occurs when repeated stress is applied to hair follicles, hats aren't even tight enough to cause that. If anything, hats are good for hiding hair loss and giving you a slightly younger appearance. But before you start digging your ball caps out of your closets, listen to this mind-boggling statement from Maria Mativa, physician at the University of Miami. It's possible that if someone is already predisposed to baldness, meaning it's in their genetics, hat wearing could, in theory, speed up that process. These are men who constantly wear tight hats, which reduces blood flow and air supply to the follicles, which almost provides support for Lisa Corsillo's claim. Unfortunately, no one has ever studied whether this is an actuality. And here's some more support for Lisa's theory from Dr. Shilpi Ketterpal from the Cleveland Clinic. Sweat trapped under the hat causes dandruff and overgrowth of yeast and bacteria, which causes some shedding.
So the key difference to note here is between shedding and male pattern baldness. With the sweat trapped under your hat, it could cause shedding. And if the hair doesn't grow back, that means you have permanent hair loss, which means take off your hat and set it on fire.
For some peace of mind in hair, I like the term Dr. Michael Wolfeld, plastic surgeon specializing in hair restoration and assistant clinical professor at Mount Sinai Medical Center in New York, uses. Multifactorial.
If you have a family history of male pattern baldness stemming from your mother's side, you notice your grandfather or uncles don't have hair, it's probably best you skip your hat. But if you're feeling risky and you like to live life on the edge, and you have a hairline you could take a level to, then feel free to hat away. Hat away? Hat away. Hat away?
She took off her hat, and there she was. Hello!